Hi, I'm Robin Blylow. Welcome to my presentation on the 6 principles of design. First, we're going to start off with focal point and emphasis. Emphasis is a strategy that aims to draw the viewer's attention to a specific design element. Focal point is the eye-catching point in a design that stands out, or the center of interest. This picture of the pond, your eyes are first drawn to the bright pink of the flower. In the second example, our eyes are drawn to the center of the photo. This is where the photographer wanted your attention. The lines and circles are all pulling your eyes into where to look and focus. The next example is the picture of the puzzle, with the last piece being added. This is the focal point of this picture, and it looks like the picture is somehow disturbed. The last example, my eyes are drawn to the bubbles. They seem to pull me in and draw my attention around the picture. What do you notice first? Our next principle is contrast. Contrast is a difference between two or more elements in a composition. Contrast is important because it helps to organize your design and gives it an order to focus on. Contrast is also a way to add interest. Ways to add contrast are to add color, use texture and patterns, use big and small elements, use typography, and add unexpected elements. In our first example, we see the Mad Men poster. They use color to form the contrast. To me, on the left, they focus you to the dress, and on the right, the silhouette of a man. What do you see first? Our next example uses 3 forms of contrast. First is the size of the words, hard and soft. Next, the 2 words use different typography. Hard is big and boxy, and soft is rounded and flowy. The last one that stands out is texture. The texture of the words represents what each word. And lastly, the last sample of contrast is shapes. Since visually you want to make things the same, having a different shape draws your attention. Moving on, we will talk about balance. Balance is the distribution of the visual weight of objects, colors, texture, and space. It gives your design a visual representation of gravity. Balance appears 4 ways: symmetrical, equal weights on either side of a center axis; asymmetrical, unequal visual weight on each side of a center axis; radial, elements radiate from the center point; and mosaic, balanced chaos creating grid pattern and repeating elements of equal weight. This is also known as crystallographic. Our photos show asymmetrical balance. The rocks are balanced on either side but are not the same visual weight. Symmetrical balance is shown in the Titanic movie poster. Each side are the same visual weight. The stars in this time-lapse photo give off radial balance, where the balance is radiating from the center. Lastly is the crystallographic balance, as seen in this Jackson Pollock painting. Rhythm or reason are present, but it does not feel off. Now we will discuss movement, the path the viewer's eye takes through the design, mostly leading to a focal point. 3 types of movement are physical, a feeling of action; juxtaposition, element is in sort of a freeze frame position; and moving a viewer's eye. This is the way a person's eye moves through the design. In this example, this picture right here, we see the way lines moving our eyes to the person in the back of the design. We get a feeling as if we are in a warp sense. The picture of the great wave gives us a physical type of movement. The direction of the lines show us what way the action flows. And lastly, we have juxtaposition, as shown as the gymnast on the balance beam. You know what the movement is, but don't visually. You know what the movement is visually, but you don't feel it. The 5th element we're going to talk about is rhythm and pattern. Pattern is the repeating of an object or a symbol over designs. They can be regular or irregular. Rhythm is the relationship between the elements that creates a sense of harmony. Rhythm is a little of pattern and repetition. 3 types of rhythm are regular, intervals between elements are similar in size or length; flowing, elements are intervals or organic; and progressive, when shapes or forms are shown in a sequence of steps. Our first photo shows the 3 types of rhythm. An example of flowing rhythm is right here. where the lines give you the feel of flow. Next is an example of regular rhythm. The lines and repetition are equally the same. Progressive rhythm can be found in these paint swatches. How it increases in one color intensity to the next is an example of progressive rhythm. The picture of the elements are an example of pattern. Lastly, we have unity. Unity is how well different elements in your design work together to create a sense of wholeness. Unified designs work as a whole instead of different pieces. They can be recognized as a group. You can create unity two ways. The first is proximity, making a group of objects feel like one unit, and the second is repetition. When a set of like items act together, they form a group. It ties things together. Our first picture shows unity as the state of being one together. Our next example is of how M&Ms use unity across all of their products to make all look distinctly different, but still unified. The letterhead and marketing items of Lorem convey unity and consistency throughout all of their departments. Thank you for watching my presentation on the principles of design.